Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 darkest Batman the Animated Series moments.
The monster who took you from me will soon learn that revenge is a dish best served cold.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most disturbing, upsetting, or downright depressing moments found in this acclaimed DC show, as well as its direct sequel series, The New Batman Adventures. If you haven't seen both shows, beware of spoilers ahead. Which of these moments did you find to be the darkest? Are there any big ones we left off? Share your thoughts in the comments. Number 10. Unwelcome Visions. On paper, the ventriloquist and Scarface may seem like a silly duo. One is a puppeteer while the other is a crime boss dummy. But the creators knew how to make even this compelling by tapping into the former's damaged mental state.
What's the matter, dummy? Having a bad day?
Who's there?
Thought you could get rid of me, huh? Pull some sort of psychobabble snuff job.
No.
Double Talk follows the ventriloquist after he's released from Arkham and attempts to turn over a new leaf. Unfortunately, he's plagued by visions and conversations with his dangerous alter ego, eventually reaching his breaking point.
How long are you gonna stand there and stare? Give me a ballpark so I can plan my day. Pick me up already! Good boy.
It's later revealed these were faked by Scarface's goons, but it shows how difficult it can be for a mentally ill person to function without a proper support system.
Arnold, don't do this.
It's out of my hands.
He's the puppet, not you.
Don't listen to him, dummy! He's playing you like a cheap fiddle! Do him already!
He feels there's no escape from his old life, making the viewer feel deeply sympathetic. Number 9. Letting it out. Superheroes are usually pretty sure-footed in their cause, and that's especially the case with Batman. However, a moment where the hero questions his entire purpose is one of his lowest points on the show.
Hey, Bats, don't worry about me. I don't need help from some jerk in long underwear.
After rescuing a boy in need, Batman is late to a crime scene, which turns out to be a setup in order to get to Commissioner Gordon. One of Gotham's finest is put in the hospital, and both Batman and Harvey Bullock place the blame on the Caped Crusader's shoulders.
Don't blame yourself. You caught the man who shot him.
If I'd been there.
You should have been there, pointy ears. Then maybe Pete might have shot the right guy.
Returning to the Batcave, he destroys much of his equipment in an explosion of guilt and rage. The episode's build-up is handled so well that this reaction is both natural and sorrowful. Number 8. Waking from a dream. Many fictional characters have had to escape from simulations of carefree alternate realities designed to keep them there. However, Bruce Wayne has some very good reasons to be tempted.
Son, you sound upset. Is something the matter?
No, it's impossible.
The majority of this episode is a dream concocted from the Mad Hatter's tech and focuses on Bruce's life had his parents never been murdered. Not only that, but he's also engaged to a crime-free Selina Kyle. However, his mind won't let him forget that something's wrong.
You need professional help. Liar! You know what's going on. This is a dream, and you're the one responsible.
Batman has always had to sacrifice his own happiness to keep Gotham safe, and this episode is one big reminder of that. It reaches peak darkness when Bruce must throw himself off a building just to wake up.
This isn't an ordinary dream. What if you're wrong?
Then I'll see you in your nightmares.
Number 7. House of Mirrors. An original villain to the show, Baby Doll was born with a condition that keeps her young.
Naughty, naughty baby. Haven't I told you not to run off?
I didn't mean to.
She starred in her own sitcom, but life grew increasingly harder after the show ended. It leads her to kidnap her co-stars in a twisted way to recapture those better days.
Mary Doll? Is this a joke?
No, sillies. I'm Baby, member. It's Susie and Tippy and Mumsy and Daddy and Baby together again forever and ever.
Being an adult trapped in the body of a toddler sounds like a nightmare. The creators perfectly summed up this despair in the final moments of Baby Doll's first episode. As Batman chases her through an amusement park, the two enter a house of mirrors, each of which warp Baby Doll's appearance. She has an emotional breakdown at the sight of her as an adult. Sobbing, she hugs Batman and utters her signature catchphrase with far more emotional weight.
I didn't mean to.
Number 6. Annie returns home.
Finally, you've come back to me.
With his ability to shapeshift, Clayface is undeniably one of Batman's craftiest rogues. However, his levels of disturbing reached new heights in this episode of the New Batman Adventures. For most of the runtime, Tim Drake helps a sweet girl named Annie, who's being followed by a new criminal in Gotham. By the end, it's revealed that this new criminal is Clayface in disguise, and he's hunting Annie because she's actually a part of him.
But he wasn't strong yet, and he didn't know where he was. So he created me and sent me off to find out if it was safe.
Even still, this part has clearly developed sentience, and Robin does his best to defend her. Unfortunately, it's him who needs rescuing, and his new friend sacrifices herself to save him. Her death is all kinds of disturbing, as she's swallowed up with no chance of a goodbye.
Run, Robin! Hurry!
Number 5. Big Bad Harv. Harvey Dent's descent has been adapted through many different mediums, but the version seen in the animated series remains one of our favorites.
Harv, take it easy. This kind of behavior doesn't go over well with the voters.
Let go of me, you rich twit!
Harvey!
The DA is hell-bent on cleaning up Gotham, drawing the ire of crime boss Rupert Thorne. Through therapy, we see that Harvey has always tried to keep his anger bottled up, manifesting in a dangerous case of dissociative identity disorder. Unfortunately, Thorne blackmails Dent, leading to a confrontation at a chemical plant.
There's just one problem.
What's that?
You're talking to the wrong Harvey.
Despite Batman's best efforts, he's unable to stop an explosion that leaves half of Harvey's body disfigured and his entire mind broken. Viewers saw the DA as Bruce's close friend early on, so his transition to villainy would already sting, but detailing Harvey's mental state made it more impactful.
Harvey!
Goodbye, Grace.
Number 4. The death of Robin's parents.
Okay, Dick, you ready?
Ready, Dad?
The series establishes Dick Grayson as Batman's sidekick long before his backstory is revealed. This allows viewers to care for him and the duo's relationship, which in turn makes his origin much sadder.
Keep my number handy. You're gonna be calling Tony Zuko and soon. Out of my way, punk.
Through flashbacks, we see how Dick and his parents worked for the circus when he was a boy. Sadly, a gangster named Tony Zuko tried to shake down the ringmaster. He ended up cutting through some rope used in the Flying Grayson's act when he didn't get paid. The subsequent death of Robin's parents is already tragic. The fact that Bruce saw himself in the young boy, who then had to leave the only life he'd ever known, just makes everything worse.
Look, Dick, it's not going to be easy. You have to take it a day at a time. But for however long it takes, you have a home with us.
Number 3. The cycle of abuse. Throughout the series, we see that Harley Quinn is clearly in an abusive relationship with the Joker. No matter what he does, she always comes back.
Oh, come on, Puddin'. Don't you want to rev up your Harley? Vroom, vroom.
Mad Love flashes back to how she met the villain, while present-day scenes show her trying to off Batman so that she and Puddin' can settle down. But the Joker makes it clear that only he should be the one who does it, greeting his lady love with immense anger instead of gratitude.
But Puddin', I don't understand. Don't you want to finally get rid of Batman?
Only if I do it, idiot.
It's hard to single out one moment as the darkest since the whole episode is pitch black. However, Joker tossing Harley out a window just for trying to make him happy is a big contender.
You've forgotten what I told you a long time ago. One of the painful truths of comedy. You always take shots from folks who just don't get the joke.
Sadly, by the end, she shows she'll still forgive him.
I finally see that slime for what he is. A murderous, manipulative, irredeemable...
Angel.
Number 2. Barbara Gordon's Nightmare. Despite its reputation as one of the darker superhero cartoons, viewers aren't usually confronted with the death of a main character. However, Over the Edge shows how that might play out.
Oh no, Wayne. No vanishing act this time.
The episode opens with Gordon and his police hunting Batman and Robin, while an eventual flashback explains why. During an attack on City Hall led by the Scarecrow, the villain hits Batgirl from behind, sending her unconscious body to the streets below. Surprisingly, no one comes to her rescue, and she collides with her father's own car, dying in his arms moments later.
How could you? I worked with you, trusted you, and you never told me? She was my daughter. My daughter.
In reality, the episode is her worst nightmare, brought on by Scarecrow's fear toxin. But the episode structure makes it feel real, and scarred many kids in the process.
You and my father at each other's throats because I was killed without ever telling him about this.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Norris' Fate.
Freeze! That's Mr. Freeze to you.
Prior to appearing on the animated series, Mr. Freeze was far from the deepest supervillain. Thankfully, the showrunners reinvented him through a backstory equal parts compelling and heartbreaking. Heart of Ice follows Batman investigating a string of robberies at Goth Corp offices. This leads him to Victor Freeze, and eventually, the reasoning behind his hatred for the company's CEO.
Behind me you see the CC-100, a cryogenic freezing chamber of my own design. I created it for the express purpose of freezing subjects stricken with inoperable ailments. Subjects like my own beloved wife, Nora.
While watching old footage, he learns Freeze was a scientist who cryogenically froze his wife Nora when she grew terminally ill. He then watches in horror as Freeze's funding is cut, and a confrontation leads to him becoming the future villain.
My God. Yes, it would move me to tears if I still had tears to shed.
Not only did this moment completely alter everyone's perception of the character, but it proved the show was willing to take risks with darker storylines.
I can only beg your forgiveness and pray you'll hear me somehow. Someplace where a warm hand waits for mine.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.